Hello.
And welcome to
Two
Filthy
Nerds.
because we're filthy.
And we're nerds.
And there's two of us.
Unless you count.
All of Jessica Michelle's personalities.
And they're all terrible.
They're all really obnoxious.
Yes. And just hard to be around.
But
There's one now.
Those are the milkshakes who bring all the boys to their yard. That's Buddy squeaking his toy. Buddy, come here. Come here.
My personalities are the equivalent of Buddy's incessant toy squeak.
You have the personality of a squeaky toy?
Yeah. Just like fun for like 2 seconds.
Until you rip it out and throw it away.
Yeah, and you choke to death on it if you're lucky.
Yeah. And
Anyway.
then you eat the fabric surrounding the squeaky toy, and then you have an obstructed bowel and die.
It does feel like a good metaphor for my body is the fabric surrounding a squeaky toy.
Yeah, it's about right. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Just stuffed with nothing but annoying.
All right, you guys, now that we're done shitting on Jessica Michelle.
My favorite thing to do. All right.
I mean, it's either shitting on her or shitting my pants. You take your pick. I know which one's funnier.
You got to pick one. All right, listen.
All right.
We're getting deep in the book, but first we're going to run our filthy mouths about, I don't know, life? Like what?
The uncertainty of the times is what today something interesting happened to me today, and Jessica Michelle and I thought, this is something we should talk about because I think it's a very real thing that's happening to me and probably happening to a lot of other people.
Yeah, whose jobs are currently in flux or up in the air or
gone completely.
Yeah.
Just there are some jobs that will never come back from this.
Yeah.
And I feel like that might be comedy for at least another year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Rogan's doing improvs. So the fact that he is headlining clubs where we are just barely getting footing at. I mean, we're not even in the tier of comics that are solid working headlining at clubs regularly comics. It's like I'm in at a few clubs headlining and on the weekends, off nights at other clubs.
And I'm doing wraparounds, which means I'm featuring at these clubs. And then the night before and the night after the featuring shows with the bigger headliner, I get to headline off nights.
Exactly. Same. So it's like if someone who is essentially an arena comic, whether he chooses to do arenas or not, Rogan does theaters, but he can do like huge theaters. He could do an arena if he wanted, is now coming not to smaller theaters, into clubs, which fine, of course, like he wants to get up. That's the place to get up. I understand it, but it's all going to have a trickle down effect, as I believe Roy Wood Jr. spoke about in an article, where everyone's going to get pushed out of work for at least a little while until things get back to normal. So in the midst of this, we are like, well, what are we
going to do?
What do we do?
So Jessica Michelle, when this whole thing started, she was smart and was like, you know what? I'm just going to put together a resume.
And I did. I used all the skills I've developed through I have a degree. I had a full-time job previous to starting comedy full-time, but even through the work I've picked up, through the small projects I've done with friends, it is funny if you really think about what goes into being an independently touring comedian or having produced content. There are so many skill sets that translate into other jobs. So I took the fact that I'm good at writing, that I do my own press, that I am good at keeping a calendar, et cetera, and I smushed it all into a resume.
And sent it out.
Yeah, and then I got a job and quit the same day because I was like, oh, this is a career change and that is not
what she wants.
What I wanted. Grant, it was probably not a peak moment for me mental health wise when I accepted a job and then
quit it not even 24 hours later.
Yeah. But then that ended up turning into they like my writing so much that they were like, would you be interested in doing a freelance job?
So perfect.
Now I'm building my resume doing ad copy. In the event that I need to do more of this, I'm getting more of that hands-on experience in a current level, because it's one thing to have the experience, but if it's from, almost 10 years ago versus now I'm doing it currently, you have a more competitive resume should you want to go out and get more jobs like that.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of a reality that we have to think about. Mm-hmm. And so Nicole, thinking of that reality.
I didn't think about it recently, or well, in the past.
What
And
made
only
you think of this? Are you just going through something?
It was, it was just one of those things where it was like, I think last week I spoke to Dave Attell, and he was like, yeah, comedy's not going to be back to normal for till at least 2021.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck. If that's,
That's Dave Attell, one of the greatest stand-ups
in the history of
I mean, you want to
comedy.
talk about like a staple club comedian. And by the way, I think it's because he chooses clubs.
Oh, he chooses clubs.
Yeah,
he likes
because
clubs.
the club
That's his vibe.
Which I admire because I can totally understand why someone would do. I love clubs. So, and as just a budding baby at that level, it's cool that he sells out and will just go, no, I want to stay at clubs.
Yeah. And he'll sell out. I mean, I just did a run of shows with him. He sold out 6 shows in San Diego at a club. Like he could do a theater.
Yeah, he could be in and out for one night, but I mean, a club is a certain experience, and like as a comedian,
to me, it's the realest experience that comedy is. Like that is the way comedy is meant.
Yeah, it's to be consumed at a comedy club, which is built and designed for the best
comedy experience.
Comedy delivery.
Low ceiling. The rooms aren't too wide. They're not too deep.
If
everybody's
club.
Packed in like cucumbers. Dark.
No fucking windows.
Yeah, no windows. But I do love a little bit of house light. I do love a little bit of the house light.
Really?
I don't want it pitch black. I want to be able to see some of the faces, but not super well.
Yeah, I guess I get that.
Yeah. I like it a little bit just so I can, it's one of those
so you can connect
things where it's like, I can't figure out what's going on back there.
I don't think that's even a control thing. I mean, maybe a little. I don't want to say it's not. I don't want to diminish your experience, but so much of what makes stand-up comedy good is that audience comedian connection.
Totally.
And if that's the reason I think it would be mortifying to do theaters, because it's like if you have a huge theater and you're not actually
connecting with,
you're like you're monologuing.
Yeah, you're monologuing. You're monologuing to laughter,
which is great.
Yeah, but I want to see I want to fucking see people. I love it. It makes me so happy. Making people laugh it's a fucking drug.
Oh, 100%.
Like there is nothing, and I mean absolutely, the greatest orgasm I've ever had does not even come close to how great it feels to just fucking murder a room.
Oh yeah, there's nothing like it.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
It's a high.
And it is a high, and it's an indescribable high. It's incredible. And I'm really sad that I'm not going to have that for a really long time.
Yeah.
And so in the meantime, I'm like, okay, inspired by Jessica Michelle, like putting together a resume, finding something. I'm like, well, maybe I can find something, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds, but I realized I don't have a plan B. So I was randomly speaking with a friend of mine who is the head of career counseling at a university in Nebraska. And she was like, hey, how's it going? I was like, oh, I'm just really nervous and uncertain about my future. She's like, do you want to have a call? This is what I do. Do you want me to talk to you about what's going on? And I was like, wow, yeah, actually, sure. Why not? So today I had an hour-long conversation with her about, what do my career goals look like if comedy's not an option?
Like a solid plan B?
A solid plan B. Like just the outline of a plan B. And then also a plan C. She's like, have different variations of what a future could look like.
So it's like plan A is obviously comedy,
acting, entertainment, blah, blah, blah.
So plan B is plan B more like what are jobs you would want to do in the interim of this working versus plan C is what is a different career path?
Yes.
Is that what that is?
So A is this career, C is a different career, B is a fusion of the two.
Yeah. B is like what are jobs you're willing to pick up to supplement?
Yeah. Like what could you do in the meantime until comedy picks up, things work out, and then C is comedy's not coming back. What are you going to do?
You have to do something. You have to pay bills. Do you get nihilistic thinking about stuff like this? Because I have a lot of moments where I go, I just start thinking about the society that we've built and how like everyone has to have a job, and I get very like, what are we doing as humans?
Oh, when I was having this conversation with her, I was like, well, I don't if I'm not doing comedy, I'll just kill myself. Like I don't want to do anything else. Like I want to be an entertainer.
Yeah, like have we been brainwashed? I mean, we have been brainwashed
Yeah, absolutely.
as a society to like be tricked into thinking we want a career. I mean, there are humanitarian careers that I guess make sense, but it's like they only make sense because other people are in shitty situations.
Yeah.
But this drive to be so much of career aspirations feel like they're built on. I didn't mean to take this and go in a really dark, sad place.
It's okay. Go into a
feels
dark,
like it's
sad
all
place.
built on greed.
Oh, absolutely. So one of the things she said is, what is more important to you? Being happy with what you're doing every day or making money?
What did you say?
I said both. She's like, okay, but which one comes first? And I'm like, being happy every day.
Yeah, I have realized, I mean, I've always known that I wasn't like a money person.
Yeah.
But especially getting to a point where I have, and previously to like what's going on, had pretty much all my freedom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like we travel. It's a lot of work
Mm-hmm.
to like stay booked.
It's exhausting.
As an independent artist where you're doing all your fucking work by yourself. But like, yeah, the idea, that's what happened when I started that job one day. I was like, oh, this is like, my days are gone. And I'm like, I don't think there's a price tag you could put on anything to make me be.
To be able to have the space. I actually spoke to Tal about this once. We have a friend who's a musician, very successful musician. And she was saying how she doesn't like to make plans too far in advance. You know, she kind of likes to make plans the day of because she has no idea when her creativity is going to hit her. And she wants to be able to just, if, you know, she wakes up one morning and she's feeling a creative vibe, she wants to go with that right then and there.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Amazing.
Because like nothing bums me out more because I don't like canceling plans.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I will sometimes. But like when you're in a zone and then you're like, I have a thing.
Fuck, I have a thing.
Because it's so you cannot just decide you can't sit down and go, time to be creative.
Yeah, no. You have no idea when it's going to hit you. And that is a rule she has for herself. That is why she does not make plans. And she does not make concrete plans in advance.
Yeah.
Every time I've hung out with her, it's been at the last minute. She's been like, hey, what are you doing? Let's do something.
Yeah. Well, which is a great place to be in.
Yeah.
But it's also.
It's very much a privilege to be in that
Yeah.
space.
It's also a privilege to even have the thought of, well, I want to do something. I want to be happy. Cause it's like, yeah, that's all well and good. But like, you got bills.
Yes.
So
the reality of it is you have money.
Yeah.
We all want to be as happy as can be doing what we love.
We live in a capitalist prison.
And I need to keep a roof over my head. Maybe this is crazy, but I love shelter. It's a thing. I'm hot for shelter. So here we are. But I do not want to completely walk away from comedy.
Yeah.
But I have to have a backup plan that involves more than just sucking dick for money.
Yeah.
Because I'll do it. If I have to, as a form of survival, oh yeah. Yeah. 1,000%.
You'll suck dick for money.
For sure.
I'll be homeless.
Oh no, I'll suck dick
I
for
love
money.
sucking dick. I will not just suck a dick for money.
Yeah.
If the person whose dick I wanted to suck also wanted to give me money, I'm taking your money.
If it was between spending a night on the street or sucking a rando's dick, I mean, not too rando.
Oh, do you think that's how it's going to go down? Do you think it's going to be a familiar acquaintance?
I'm a beggar and a chooser.
Yeah, no, that's not how that works.
Listen.
No one gets to be picky when they've hit sucking dick for shelter.
I'm still relatively cute.
Mm-hmm.
I can get an OnlyFans going. It's going to take a while to build it up, but I know.
I can get at least one $19.99 in there.
Yeah,
Baby
absolutely.
steps.
Baby steps. Like, I have a pussy.
Well, I mean,
Men
for
wanna
me,
see it.
I mean, yeah, you can. If you have a pussy, you can always find shelter.
Yeah, true.
Like,
Pussy
even
will
if
get you in the door.
even if it's under the guise of a one-night stand, like you can have a place to sleep.
All right, so.
But that's not your plan B.
That's not my plan B. I mean,
that's
listen,
plan
nothing
D.
against having sex for money, but like.
Oh, I was talking about sucking dick literally for shelter. I was not even thinking of there being sex work monetary exchange.
Yeah, I mean.
I thought you were like, I will suck your dick if you let me sleep in this hut. Who lives in a hut?
I would probably be a sex worker if it weren't for the fact that I wanted to be a comedian so badly.
I mean, when I was 15, I wanted to be a porn star. And then 17 came, reality kicked in. I realized I wasn't just going to sprout big tits.
Yeah.
And I decided I better turn on the charm.
Yeah.
Because I certainly didn't just come out.
You got personality implants.
Yeah. No, I mean, God, can you imagine? That's fucking, I wish. My personality has great tits. But unfortunately, nobody wants to fuck my brain.
Oh, I want to fuck your brain.
Thank you.
Can I dry hump your brain? Put a pillow over
I would
it and then just
1,000%. If
fucking-
I had even, I don't know if this is offensive to, I don't fucking sex workers, strippers. If I had even an ounce of body confidence, if you think that I wouldn't have made money or attempted to make money and possibly failed, at least shaking my ass at a small town strip club, you're out of your fucking mind. It has nothing to do with me being against anything. It's just like, I feel like my talents are better suited in a different direction.
You really do have a great personality. Like,
I think stand-up, in a way, someone's going to slaughter me for this, is like emotional stripping if you're doing it in a very personal way.
yeah, I definitely.
I'm exposing my soul.
You 1,000% do emotional stripping. The way you hump a stool, you fucking hump a stool and you pour your heart, soul, and pussy juice into it. Nobody humps a stool the way you do. You know, a lot of comics love a good stool humping act.
Where's my Def Comedy Jam?
No one, and I mean no one, fucking lays it down.
I make love to the stool.
She, first of all, she gets that fucking face like she's possessed. She is not just humping that stool. She is fornicating. Okay, she is connecting. She's making really deep consensual eye contact.
Yeah, it's probably haunting, to be honest.
Honestly, I also feel like when you're humping the stool, you're in some way like you're doing Kegels while you're doing it. You're like gripping.
I'm doing Kegels on stage constantly. Every time I yell, I clench my pussy.
You're like, oh, like you're. Just
it's like an extra little like power fist. Like take like I'm just shaking my third fist at the man.
Yeah.
But it's my lips that no one can see except for that one time when I made the mistake of wearing shorts on stage.
Yeah. Listen, you guys.
Wait, so what are we looking at? I mean,
honestly,
what is your plan C look like?
If there is any career I feel like I could walk into that I have experience, because before stand-up, I worked in advertising. I did social media marketing.
Yeah.
Since being in the world of stand-up, I've done
had social media in the 40s? I'm just kidding.
What? In 1920, I sent a smoke signal to the Russians. I was a spy.
Mom?
So I worked in advertising, and now I've done a lot of commercials. I've worked with an ad agency in San Diego, helping create commercials, acting in the commercials, doing some writing for them, yada, da, da, da. So
you feel like you have the skill set.
I feel like I have a skill set there specifically.
And do you think that's something that you could be happy in?
As long as I'm able to be as creative as possible. Like I was telling Jessica Michelle earlier, I really enjoy acting in commercials where I get to have liberty to be creative, which is something that has happened to me a lot with this ad agency that I work with in San Diego. So if I have that liberty to do that, if I have the ability to be creative in the way that I want to be creative and express myself and make my own decisions as an actor.
Like if someone in an ad agency was to go, I trust your creativity, write whatever commercial.
Yeah. I'd be like, go.
And you think you could be completely happy with that?
If comedy wasn't an option at all, yeah.
If comedy, is there any world where comedy maybe is still an option, but you decide to go that route? Is that even a thing you think? At any point do you go, maybe I'm tired of comedy, or maybe I don't miss it that much?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't know what I would do or will do if comedy is truly not an option and I don't have enough of this like little bit of work to sustain.
Yeah.
I am not sure. I mean, yeah, in a perfect world where there's something like that where someone just goes, oh, you're so creative and talented, do whatever you want. But this is Earth. And unless I'm starting my own company and like doing aggressive like business development to reach out to companies and being like, let me handle your ad campaigns, I don't see that happening. Because there's always going to be, I mean, maybe this is like looking at the glass half empty, but I feel like there's always going to be, you know, some someone standing over your shoulder going, no, we don't want to do that, or you don't.
Yeah, that's
it.
I remember when I worked in advertising, the whole it's a little much. I mean, I was working in advertising when social media was already around, but it was
not king.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was
people weren't writing for social media.
I had to explain to people what Twitter was.
Oh yeah, like where people, everyone else was like an old.
This was like 2009, and it was like I would be like, it's called messaging. It was
back
crazy.
when people like didn't think it was gonna be like, yeah, like this
it's not gonna be a thing. Yeah. No, but I was like, yes, it's a thing. It's great. Blah blah blah. So I had to explain like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram still hadn't come out yet. You know, different things to get people aware of what it is, and it was like pulling teeth.
Yeah,
and I hated it so much. But I think now that there's all these different platforms that like are around and there's new platforms coming up, and I think because of the proven track record of pre-existing platforms, I think it would be a lot easier to like pitch fun ideas. Like I had these fucking crazy wacky ideas for clients and they were like, wow, that's a little much. And now I see these sorts of ideas all the time.
And you're like, yeah.
I'm like, that's what I was talking about in 2009. Yeah. I remember I came up with this idea to have a photo booth. It was we were pitching an idea to the Wynn Hotel in Vegas, and I came up with an idea to have a photo booth that directly generated to social media. So when you signed in on the photo booth, you could then upload it to your social media right away. You'd put in your social media handle, and it would send information. And now they have it.
What a hellhole!
Yeah,
that was something I could have invented that.
And they were like, we don't know about that. And that was the idea that I had.
They stole that as soon as you left the company.
Probably.
Ugh.
So, there were other ideas that I had about social media that people were like, that's a lot. Or do you think that'll work? Or what are the conversions? And it's like, sorry, I don't know. I kept trying to explain the idea of like surface area to people because I was like, listen, the more chance someone has to interact with your brand somewhere on social media, that's just another chance for you to expose your brand to them. Whether there's a direct conversion or not, it's just brand awareness.
Yeah,
and they were like, no, well, it's like, where's the sale? How does the sale happen? And it's like, and
you're planting a seed.
Yeah, and now it's like everywhere. Anyway, so I feel like if I were going to do anything, it would be that.
Creative in an ad agency.
Yeah.
Rad.
What about you?
Yeah, I think I'm going to kill myself.
Okay, cool.
All right, well, we'll be right back.